What's up, everybody? It's day 18 of 30 days of re-education of the Negro. Necessary conversations on race, sex, and culture. I actually fell asleep and forgot day 17, so we black on it today. This piece is called Black Socrates Speaks, To Vote or Not Vote. It was written back in October 2012, and the name was changed from Rebel Without a Vote. Due to the dangers of the environment, early man gathered in groups either as hunters or gatherers for survival. If a group member failed to follow the unwritten rules, they were outcast and forced to survive on their own. In the beginning, these bands of humans were small, so the group would make it clear to the rebel that he or she was no longer welcome to hunt or gather with the group. Eventually, several small bands of people came together collectively and formed a community. At that point, if an individual broke enough rules, an appointed group of leaders would decide if that person would remain in the community. Once outside the group, life was quite difficult and sometimes impossible. We often hear historians say when the great empires of Africa were at their zenith, Caucasians were still in caves in Northern Europe. Although this is true, we know each region of the world developed at different times throughout history. In each case, the basic needs of food, water, and shelter were met consistently, giving way for civilization to begin. As these civilizations flourished, they naturally developed a superiority complex compared to other groups yet to form a society. We still see this today when we hear terms like developed versus undeveloped nations, underdeveloped. We still see this today when we hear terms like developed versus underdeveloped nations. Throughout history, groups of humans not part of the dominant society either joined or served the dominant culture or banded together to form their own. Regardless, when humans came together, the need for rules to coexist presented itself as a need to be governed. No matter how simple or complex, once government was established, human development took place inside that society. Without government, human development is limited, and you are not part of any society if you do not govern yourself, i.e., participate. To operate outside the rules, regulations, and customs of a particular society is to be considered an outlaw, a savage, or currently a rebel. Hollywood banks on America's fascination for the John Gottis, Frank Lucases, and Che Guevaras of the world. We see them as railing against a corrupt system, and we sensationalize their lives. However, when you take a closer look at these anti-heroes, they end up at the complete mercy of the system they defy. Fortunately for us Americans, our democracy welcomes criticism, but don't be so critical of the system that you refuse to participate. If so, you can't complain the next time a billionaire gets richer by raising your local sales tax to build a new football stadium in your city for games you could barely afford to attend. Denver Broncos owner Pat Bowlen tried this some years ago, but the people stood up and voted no. Participatory democracy was also critical in passing Obamacare to ensure Americans were no longer turned away from medical treatment. The rebel without a vote must realize you have no power, and like early mankind, life outside the group can be quite difficult and sometimes impossible. Just my 3 cents. All I ask is that you think. Got 4 discussion questions. Number 1, which idea in the commentary did you appreciate most and why? Number 2, does any statement trigger you, and if so, why? Number 3, what thoughts or ideas might you reconsider after reading? And number 4, can a lesson be taken away from this commentary? Pick up your copy of Re-Education of the Negro, Necessary Conversations on Race, Sex, and Culture on Amazon.com or in Atlanta at Madu Bookstore, Nubian Bookstore, or Black Dot Cultural Center, or you can get it from your boy, Montoya Smith, aka Black Socrates, the mental activist. All I ask is that you think.